How's it going, Champions of Azeroth? Gordon here with another Druid-specific gear relating to hardcore endgame. We're talking level 60 because hardcore servers have officially been announced by Blizzard coming out late this summer, so a couple months from now. And just wanted to get ahead of the curve and start banging out some more character-specific videos or class-specific videos. And obviously I'm a Druid main, so we're going to go ahead and talk about Druid at 60. What are my qualifications for me to be able to talk about this? Well, I've got a couple of them. I have 5, maybe 6 by the time I release this video, 60s of Druid in hardcore, and 2 of them being Psalm, 2 of them being Era, and 1 of them being Era Horde at the moment. And then gonna be 2 Era Horde in about a week if I ever just finish that level 50. I was there for the first ever Ragnaros Molten Core full completion hardcore. I was there for the first ever BWL full clear to kill Nefarian. I was there for the first ever Season of Mastery on Nixia kill. ZG, I've done pretty much everything except AQ40 because I could not make that raid date when they cleared it. So also congrats to HC Elite for clearing that. Deathless, by the way. So I feel like I have a little bit of an opinion that is valid when it comes to endgame Druid content. And I only play Feral, by the way. So this is going to be a Feral DPS and tank video geared towards what is a realistic expectation of gear that you can get on a hardcore character at level 60 in the endgame. And this is going to change a little bit from piece to piece, just depending on whether or not the server is a progressive server or if it's going to have all the content released phase 6 from day 1. But what's nice about Druids is a lot of our gear, it doesn't really matter what phase that it's in because it's in for every single phase. So to prevent this from being a 30-minute video, I'm just going to go ahead and get started now. I will be going over some nice off pieces for tank Druids, but primarily this is going to be focused for DPS cat because that is my specialty, and tanking is just boring in my mind. But for the headpiece, we are going to go for the classic. It's not even up here because it's such a troll item. The Wolf's Head Helm for Feral DPS. And what's nice about this is a level 40 item, you guys. This is easily craftable by either yourself while you're leveling if you want, or at 60, ideally there is a high level leatherworker and you can just get them the mats and create this for you. You're going to be using this the entire game as a Feral DPS. There is no other option for your character here. It is this helmet all day long, ladies and gentlemen. And what's nice about this, it lets you have access to shapeshifting, power shifting as your Feral DPS. I have a whole video covering shapeshifting and how great it is and how to do it. I'm not going to go into that because that's another 20-minute video. But yes, you'll have this. You'll be wearing it pretty much on every single fight except maybe Veil Straws where you don't need to power shift. So good alternatives that are realistic for you to get, as well as tank options, are Mask of the Unforgiven because it gives you hit percent, which is very, very hard to come by for Feral Druids, both tanking as well as DPSing. Shadowcraft Helmet, awesome stats. You use pretty much every single stat on this. And then what most people go for is the Ghost Shroud out of BRD. And again, these are very, very easy pickups, you guys, because these are dungeons that are on farm. You're either doing strat on dead or working your way towards live to kill the Unforgiven. You're doing Skullomance, which is easily on farm, or you're doing Chest of the Sevens in BRD. This is the first dungeon almost every single 60 is going to go into at endgame BRD. And that's just a fantastic option to have as well. So headpiece, no problem. Easy peasy pickups for the Feral Druids. Next realistic piece, we're moving down to the necklace, and Mark of Forging is probably what most people are going to get because you can do this while you're leveling to 60. You can actually pretty much get this entire quest chain done for the most part, except for the dungeons at the end where you have to go and do a few endgame dungeons. This is a fantastic necklace. I'm going to say 95% of tanks as well as DPS are going to get this while leveling and feel good about it. The Beads of the Ogremite are fantastic as well. This is actually what almost every single Druid will wear if Phase 4 in Dire Maul is out. So if it's not out, obviously we don't have access to this because you have to go to Dire Maul to do your class quest or your tier 0.5 quest chain to have access to this. Honestly, I'm going to say it though. Onyxia Tooth Pendant, I was the world's first hardcore character to have the Onyxia head back in Season of Mastery. I was lucky enough to be granted the head, and typically the head goes to melees first or tanks as well in prioritization if you're trying to actually min-max. So Feral Druids are a fantastic option to give those Onyxia heads to, and she is honestly not that hard of a raid. You could probably do a 40-man with fresh 60s and have no deaths, if I'm being honest, because you could just bear tank it and you'll be chilling. So yes, this is a realistic piece you could get. Will it take you maybe a couple months, a couple lockouts to get it? Yeah, but again, Mark of Fortune right underneath it, another fantastic option as well. Moving on to the shoulder pieces, this is awesome because again, we get a piece that we're going to wear for pretty much the entire game. Obviously, this does get replaced in AQ40, but that is saying you're going to get to AQ40 in a hardcore setting. Good luck. Probably 99.9% of us are all going to die by then. But luckily enough, True Strike Shoulders comes from UBRS, the first boss, Pyroguard Emberseer. Really low drop rate, but UBRS, there's going to be tons of Jed Ren farm runs or full runs to get people attuned to Onyxia, to get people attuned to BWL. So expect to do a ton of UBRS, and again, for both tanking and DPSing, this is probably going to be the option for you just because, again, we struggle so much to get hit percent. So getting that hit 2% right there is very, very nice. Moving on to the Cloak. A couple of different options here, which is awesome. Again, main one for DPS is going to be Cape of the Black Baron, Stratholme Undead. People are kind of afraid of this dungeon. It is a little bit of a spooky endgame dungeon, but if I can do it on my level 59 Druid in hardcore setting, I think you guys can do it on your 60s in hardcore setting. This is straight up DPS only for this cloak because obviously there's no stamina on it. You're going with agility and attack power. That's it. If you're thinking of doing tank options, there's a couple of different options you could go for. You could get random cloaks while leveling up. You can get the Stone Squirrel Gargoyle cape again from Undead as well. This is a fantastic cloak for DPSing as well. You can get some off of rare spawns, and then depending or not, if it's in the game, that is not the one I'm looking for. Zulia, that's what I need. If ZG is out, oh, sorry, I have it set to phase 1. That would probably help if I changed that. If it's not phase 1, you guys, and ZG is out, you can get the cloak off of Venoxus in ZG. I don't know why I just spaced on that, but let's go ahead and I was figuring out how to change this. That's what we need. We'll go ahead and save that, and now we have access to the cloak I was looking for. Obviously, world bosses as well. Azure Ghost, we have it on farm. It's not unrealistic to say you could get a Poussant cape, if that's how you say that word. I call it something else whenever I talk about it. This is another fantastic cloak. Stamina, tons of attack power, and 1% hit as well. Everyone's going to be fighting for that though, so yes, you could maybe get it. Next best option, the ZTC, Zulian Tigerhide Cloak. Amazing cloak, but again, that's only if every phase is out on release. If it's phase 1, you're going to be going with those cloaks that I was mentioning earlier. Actually, you know what? Let's just keep it to a phase 1 video. I don't want to get too crazy, and it'll make it a little easier for you guys to itemize. So we're going to say we have Cloak of the Black Baron. Moving on to the chest piece here. This, again, is awesome, okay? We have tons of chest pieces early on that you can get as a Druid that are fantastic. You can get the Grizzled Pelt. This is super easy to do, you guys. You do a little bit of questing in Angora while you're naturally leveling anyways, and then you do a Sunken Temple run. You can do this ST at 60 if you want, or you could do it in the low 50s and still be fine. You just got to make sure you don't accidentally pull the entire bot or entire dungeon by pulling Irenicus early. But look at the stats on this thing. 17 strength, 16 agility, 11 stamina. Crazy good for both tanking and DPSing. And if you're lucky like me, I've had the blessing of being able to get 2 breastplates of Bloodthirst. So the way you acquire this is you actually have to have a max level Skinner doing UBRS killing the beast. So again, we're doing a lot of UBRS with the guild, getting people attuned. You have to have Finkel's Skinner drop off the beast to give you the ability to skin above 300, and then it's a really low drop rate to have the pristine hide of the beast get skinned. But then if it does drop, Feral Druid is the only legitimate class that should go to, because you can make a mail piece or a cloth piece, I believe, as well. But this chest piece is amazing. 20 stam, 13 strength, 2 critical strike, and 1% dodge. Use this pretty much for both tanking and DPSing as well. If you want to be a true diehard DPS, you could go for Cadaverous Armor. Drops off of multiple bosses in Skolo, but it's got a really low drop rate. But dang, is that a ton of stats for DPS. So more than likely you will be going one of these three. Grizzled Pelt, we'll just throw that on there for sake of ease. This is mad easy to get. Moving on, we're going to go to the risks. Again, if you guys aren't sensing a trend, we're going to Upper Blackrock Spire again. And guess who it drops off of? The Beast. So these are pretty much pre-best because, like I mentioned earlier, we struggle very, very much with getting hit capped on Druids, tanking, or DPSing. And these just have fantastic stats. It's got 13 stamina on it, 5 strength for a little bit of DPS, and then 1% hit as well. 25% drop rate. They drop pretty easily. I'm not even going to go over anything else. Risk Guards of Stability, obviously they're DPS upgrade, but it's in Molten Core. It's a really low percent drop rate, and more than likely you won't be able to wear them strictly because you're going to be hit capped or hit starved. So we're just going to say Black Mist Arm Guards. Super easy to get. Weapon, you guys. Weapon. There's only one weapon in the game, you guys, and it is called Manual Crowd Pummeler. Yes, you could have like a Warden Staff if you're going bear, but both DPS as well as tanking, you're going to use MCPs. They're just too good. You farm them in Gnomergan. You can get it at level 30 while you're leveling up. And if you could do multiple dungeons, which again, we don't really know the rule set because it hasn't officially been released, but if you could spam Gnomer, I might just do Gnomer until I get this while leveling because the stats on it are just so freaking good. Not even the activation, but just the stats alone are amazing for leveling up. And then obviously it's a great threat generator and DPS weapon as well. I don't need to explain more about it. If you play Druid, you should know what that weapon is. If not, you can go watch another video I have about MCPs. The gloves. I love it. I love it because we're just going to do gloves and legs at the same time, you guys, because why not? These are too easy to acquire, you guys. Devil Sword gauntlets as well as leggings. It takes a little bit of time to get the cured rugged hides. These are going to be super high in demand, but if there's an auction house, if there's trading, I'm sure you can barter or you could buy them early on in the game. But the stats on them are incredible for both tanking as well as DPSing, and that 2% hit bonus by wearing the set is what we're really looking for here to get us at close to hit cap. You're probably not going to be able to get hit cap right away, but every piece of hit is substantial here for us. Moving on to the waist. We have a couple different options here, which is awesome. Again, super easy to acquire, you guys. We have LBRS Quartermaster Ziggurat, the Cloud Runner Girdle. This is super awesome for tanking as well as DPSing because of that 185 armor on there. That is the kicker. That makes this, obviously there's no stamina on it, but it has great DPS stats on it, the agility, the strength, and then the armor on it makes it awesome for tanking as well. It's a really low drop rate, but 10 manning LBRS is almost, you could do it with your eyes closed, honestly. If we could do it in 5 mans, you guys can do it in 10 mans in a hardcore setting. And then coming down, if you, for whatever reason, can't get that to drop, Shadowcraft belt right below it. Fantastic stats. You use pretty much every single stat on this belt. And what's nice about it is it's a BOE. So again, you can acquire it pretty easily in the end game at hardcore. Either buy it, barter for it, or just get it to drop for yourself. Again, pants combo with the gloves, Devil Sword all day. Feet, pretty awesome here. Again, we have some options. You could do ZF a million times and get the rare spawn to drop. You could just have it from a quest if you want. Easy peasy. Or you could do princess runs. Everybody, again, BRD is going to be spammed. It's arguably one of the easiest dungeons to do at endgame content in a hardcore situation. Tons of people are going to be wanting to farm their Hodge. People are going to start doing the quest lines. Kill the princess, 25% drop rate, fantastic stats on it, and more than likely, I would say you are going to use this for both tanking and DPSing just for sake of ease. Rings, this is where it gets a little tricky. Tarnished Elven Rings are fantastic. Probably the best realistic item that you're going to get as a DPS because it's got agility on it and it's got hit on it. If Dire Maul is out at the start, you're just going to go 2 out of 2 Tarnished Elven Rings. And what's cool is, depending on if they nerf it again, you used to be able to sell what was ever in the chest. So you could actually just go buy somebody's ID and loot this out of the chest. If that's not the case, more than likely, you're just going to have to do either a couple of Maraudons, which again is easy at 60, spammable. You can get a Blackstone Ring. Or you're going to try to get some quest item rewards. There's a bunch of different quest item rewards you could get while leveling up. That'll do the job. It'll be good enough. Obviously, there's the ZF quest ring here as well that you can get while leveling and have a decent look at it. Again, doing full EBRS, you could get Painweaver bands. Not the end of the world. You could get Band of Ikaria or QSR, but again, you're clearing Molten Core, which I don't really think is too scary personally. But again, you're fighting, that's an epic ring. You know, everybody and their sister is going to want that ring. So just depending on, again, what the release is, if Dire Maul is out. If not, we'll just do something kind of along the lines of these two. These are very realistic. You can have both of those rings. Trinket. I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you are a bear tank, I still think you should go Black Hand's Breath. It is just too good. Getting 2% crit on an item is amazing. You could go Mark of Tyranny, get a little bit of resistance and the armor and the dodge. I have a Druid that has it, and I have regretted taking it every single day that I look at it. I just go Black Hand's Breath. It's fantastic for DPS as well as tanking. And then right underneath, Hodge, Hand of Justice. Again, it's either going to drop off of Emperor and Beardy or General Angerforge, depending on what phase, because it does get shifted around on the loot table, depending on what phase is out. But you're going to be doing tons of BRD runs, again, trying to either farm the boot, get people attuned to Molten Core. You're going to be having a shot at Hodge. It does proc in both bear and cat form, which is fantastic for giving yourself Omen of Clarity procs. And that's it, you guys. That is your character level 60. And look at that. I'm going to come out and say it right now. If you go in to Molten Core with this set of gear, you can have every single piece of gear. Right now you're looking at pre-raid. On bosses, Feral Druid will do #1 DPS. Hands down. No questions asked. They are #1 DPS. And I'll prove it when servers actually release, because I will be ideally having this exact make you guys see on the screen right now. So going over everything, again, just really quickly to kind of scout out what you have to do, which is awesome. Feral Druids are so blessed, you guys. We don't have to go to Dire Maul West. We don't have to do jump runs. We don't have to do Skullo if we don't want to. Half of our gear is from questing or can be crafted for us. And the other half, you're doing BRD full runs. You're doing UBRS Jed Ren runs if you want, or full runs to get people attuned again. UBRS really isn't hard. You guys, there's thousands of VODs you can go watch and figure out how to do UBRS in a hardcore setting. And then it's just getting Hodge drop again in BRD. Your best weapon for the entire game comes out of Gnomergan. Easy peasy. Look at that. That's it. We're doing Undead Stratholme, LBRS, UBRS, BRD. 4 dungeons to get whatever you need to be fully pissed out on a Feral Druid, you guys. That is incredible. I'm looking so much to playing hardcore in a true official realm where it is 1 life, 1 death, or 1 life equals death equals delete. I can't even talk, man. I'm just so excited for it. I can't even process the words right now to talk about it. But at this point, I don't want to ramble on too much longer. This video is almost 20 minutes long, but I figured I would just go over and show you what you're going to be looking like. Dang, that character is looking kind of nice. I'm not going to lie. The colors match, except maybe the chest piece, but you could switch that out. What is the... Oh, man, that actually looks pretty clean if you get that to drop. Look at that. character is looking fresh, you guys. And I will be having more Druid-specific videos coming out as well. Feel free to leave comments down below if you want me to mention anything or go over anything that you're curious on. And it doesn't even have to be Druid-specific as well. It could be anything hardcore related. And I am definitely down to take a look and potentially make videos on it as well. And other than that, I look forward to seeing you guys on the hardcore servers, if not on the PTR relatively shortly. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.